So let's see if we can have a quick chat about 15 Otto Street, because I went there today just to see what's been happening with it, if my family understood that I always wanted to improve the property, right? I always wanted to kind of turn it into an investment property with me and my father, right? Like I said, I have no interest in 15 Otto Street kind of staying, as a place for my father to stay in Sydney, because I find that idea repulsive, right? And he knew, right? Because I discussed it with him, right? And I'm a man of my words, that it was purely an investment property, right? I don't want my father to sort of turn around and say, well, no, I don't want it to be an investment property because you offended me by, telling people our past. It's like, okay, you offended me by proving yourself to be a disgusting, disgraceful, deceitful liar who would stop at nothing, okay, to twist and bend the story to their end so they can come out on top, so their pride can be protected. My father is a disgusting, lying, manipulative, abusive wretch, right? And people like that in life don't get rewarded, right? He's been to jail several times. He's divorced from his wife, both civilly and through the Catholic Church, because he abused his wife, okay? To such a malicious degree, violent, vile, right, degree, that the Catholic Church saw fit to divorce them in the eyes of God, right? There's something wrong with Majid Saeed Toke, right? Because this all started months and months and months and months ago, when I sent Saeed a photo telling him what I wanted out of my dad, what the whole issue was. And I wrote down, just to make it very plain, put it in black and white so everyone in the world can see, right? That I have something to refer back to. I'm making all these disgusting posts on Facebook. I want them to stop. So in order to stop, you got to listen to me for once in your life. Just once. Nah, couldn't get that. This is what I asked my dad on the 26th of the 2nd, 2024, right? I get 4 points, very, very simple. Construction and immediate sale of a dual occupancy at 15 Otto Street, Marylands. Number 2, the builder must not be a family member, a friend or family friend. The builder must be non-biased, right? Because at that point, I realized that the family working together was the worst thing imaginable, right? Because I just came off a commercial concreting contract that Ami Maroon and Majid were supposedly assisting me in completing and resolving, and they were the most toxic element the entire time, right? Thieves, disgusting junkies is all that, Majid proved himself to be, who's now back where he, belongs, as a laborer, fixing doors or hanging them. Number 3, funds for the project and sale will be kept in the company Mariam Saeed Proprietary Limited bank account. Mariam Saeed is a company I opened up last year for this specific purpose, because I found out, because it was last year that I realized, oh shit, okay, I'm not liking the interaction that I'm having with my dad. No, I got to put my foot down and tell him, what it's about. I got to whip my dick out and slap him with it, right? And this is what I did, by the way. This wounded my father's pride, just me simply writing something and making it public, right? A voluntary enduring power of attorney must be entered into by Majid, where Francis Toke will be named the attorney for Majid Toke. Now, the point 4 was always a test. Right? This isn't written in stone. This is ink on a piece of paper, right? It's open to interpretation. It took me about, 5 minutes to write it. Probably take me about 30 seconds to revise it, But the revision was never even thought about. They were just insulted that I'd be implying that my father, the junkie, heroin addict, that bashes his wife, or that runs away as soon as stuff gets hard, that makes his eldest son suicidal, might need to enter into an enduring power of attorney where he's not the one responsible, where someone else sort of has guardianship of his financial assets or his financial sort of affairs. Okay, literally what an enduring power of attorney is someone that can sign on your behalf when it's to do with financial sort of things and things to do with property. That's literally all it was. But my father didn't know that because he's a criminal. He's a career criminal and a junkie, right? So to him, he thinks I'm playing these odd kind of like psychological games, right? I don't know, but he was so offended by that he convinced Nana to take a screenshot of me saying that I wanted to murder and slit his throat, right? Because nothing was getting through to any of them. Like, hold on, wait, why doesn't Andrew want to do anything with his dad anymore? Like, I don't get it. It's, I don't get it. It's like, okay, yeah, dude. I told you. I thought I was clear. I thought it was plain. Like, I'm done with this whole sort of silly game. And yeah, I think my father sort of wanted to show the kind of person that he is by intimidating me, by sort of orchestrating, that I'd get an AVO or something. He convinced, because remember, Nana took a screenshot of her phone in Qatar to send it to Halim to give to Ammi Sharbel. So I think it seems like it's more local. Like no, I was sending that to someone that's here and I want to attack someone in Sydney. But even in the messages, I make reference to my dad specifically and the country Qatar specifically. Like I can in no way sort of be serious about this, right? And I'm not about to physically harm someone locally. I was talking specifically about my father, all right? And I was talking about Qatar. What was interesting was when I was served the AVO papers, that's when Nana messaged me and said, all right, now my dad's willing to speak to me. I was like, oh, you piece of fucking slime. Is that the game that you were playing? Orchestrate it so Ammi Sharbel can get an AVO out on me because you thought that that'd scare me into me speaking to you? No, man, that just, showed how much of a pathetic urchin that, my entire family was for supporting you. AVOs, you can dispute AVOs. You go to court, people ask questions, and I'm university educated. I can answer those questions. It's not a problem. It really just showed the kind of person that my father is, all right? This was all a reaction to what I wanted to do in the first place, to that thing that I sent Saeed, because I was so fascinated to find out like where something so benign, how vicious and malicious something so benign can be interpreted by my father, like how that would greatly offend him. Something that's just like that if anyone else would see, they'd be like, what, dude, that's perfectly reasonable. What's the issue? To them, it had to be like, no, you don't understand. There's more to this. Andrew bashes his wife and his sister and his mother. And now he wants to bash Ammi Sharbel and he wants to slit his dad's throat. And he's always been like this. And yeah, it never needed to be more complicated than Andrew was upset at his father because his father wasn't taking his demands and his feelings seriously. It was always that simple, right? So 15 Otto Street has been left basically to rot, right? I don't understand because I don't have the keys. And my father refuses to speak to me, so he's happy for nothing to be done with 15 Otto Street. And I honestly think that now it's just used by Saeed and Majid as a place for them to hang out when they're doing drugs. Because, oh God, it's so funny. I smashed 2 windows out the back several weeks ago. And I was thinking, these guys are tight asses, right? They're not gonna pay to have the window fixed. And I was so right about that. They didn't have They didn't pay to have the window fixed. They got a window pane and they fixed it themselves, poorly and bodgily, and they put plywood panels in front of the back windows. I don't know why. And there's still one broken window at the side where the kitchen is, right? I don't know why anyone in the family's staying there. I don't know why they're hanging out there. I'd be uncomfortable. I'd be uncomfortable staying in a house that's been vandalized the way that it has, with all those flyers glued to the front door. I'd be embarrassed, right? And we don't have squatters in that house. We have people entering, easily entering, right, with keys. Because these are like, deadlocked doors, right? They haven't been smashed in or anything. Someone with the key has been coming over, opening, getting in there, doing whatever the heck they want to do, hanging out there, right? And then just locking up afterwards, closing the gate afterwards. I never close the gate after I leave. Someone nice, okay, fixed the window pane, all right, and he's hanging out there, right, without my consent. And that bothers me, right? And the reason why that bothers me is because the real estate agent told me that he gave the keys to Saeed, right? So I know that Saeed and Batami have the keys to the house, and someone that's entering and exiting that house obviously has the keys. And it just goes to show the kind of people that they are, that rather than speak to me and discuss 15 Otto Street, right, they prefer to just leave the keys and put me in a position where I have to change the locks myself. That's okay. I don't mind that, man. Because the kind of people that would rescind the contract for 310 Blackstone Road, so the vendor's giving them the option to sell, and they say, no, we don't want to sell. We want to give you 250,000 so we can blame Andrew later. People that think that destructively, obviously, would sort of resort to these kind of tactics and would be happy to stay at 15 Otto Street even in the condition that it is. Because that's all that they are. Just a bunch of wretches, that are happy to live in the hell that they create for themselves. When everything was nice and amicable with me and my father, it was all good. They were living in paradise. And then I got upset, and look at their life now. Look what they're resorting to. My God, man. Look at the truck that Ami Maroon is driving. Where did he get the money from? Money that I helped secure for him. Ugh. And what does he do to pay me back? He won't even give me the keys back to 15 Otto Street. How disgraceful. But it reminds me of a conversation that my mother had with Mtonis Masoud, that's Mado's father, about leadership and a lack of leadership in Bat Asad. But more importantly than leadership, I just want to talk about how attractive Mado is and how beautiful he is. I think it's his jaws. I think they're chiseled in a way that's very pleasing to me. Broad shoulders, but look, overly broad, yeah. Shoulders too muscly, yeah. Does he look like a meathead? Obviously. Is it a bit gross and repulsive to a lot of women? Definitely, right? But so beautiful, right? Just such a beautiful, handsome, lovely, plump-lipped man, I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah. Plump Lip's father said that there's no leadership in my family, right? And I think that's the surprise, and that's what everyone's getting out of this. The fact that they're allowing me to so freely, drag their name through the mud, and all that they've done to kind of like, to resolve that is to stubbornly, use 15 Otto Street as a drug den because they can't rent it out legally, lose hundreds of thousands of dollars for the family, and, call the police and Anton to try to send me to jail because they dislike the fact that I told that I made it public that, Sandy flashed me when we were in Lebanon. I can't help that Sandy flashed me in Lebanon, It's not my fault that she did that, right? It's her father's fault for proving that he's an absolute and utter disgraceful father for allowing me to say that about his daughter and not, confronting me directly, rather using police as proxies for him. And by the way, that's so transparent. I'm not scared of the police. I like the police. I respect and love the police. I got no issue, talking to them on my level. I know what was happening, and I told them what was happening on my end. It's quite embarrassing for Ami Marwan, really. Yeah, but back to Antonius Masoud's point, or rather Mado's dad's point. There is no leadership. I mean, imagine. Do you think I'd be able to get away with saying what I said about Saeed and Majid and my father to Bat Antonius Masoud's kids? Eli, Mado, Youssef, Sharbel. Imagine that. Imagine if I said a fraction of what I said about Saeed to any of them. They would have busted me up. They would have put me in my place straight away, and I would have respected them for it. They wouldn't have just put me, because they wouldn't have put me in my place physically. They wouldn't have called the cops. They would have grabbed me by the collar, shoved me, and had conference with me. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's the quality of the kind of conversation I would have had with them. And that's true leadership. That's healthy masculinity, in my opinion. But that never happened, Instead of them confronting me, they just called Anton. They kept calling Anton, And then Anton tells Maria to come over my house. And I bet you they forgot that Maria went to Saeed's house to have barbecue with him. Yeah, maybe. That the first thing that I would have said at court was, I know Maria. I've seen her at Batami's house at night. Anton parades them through a bunch of uniformed constables, right? So he could show the family, look, I'm a drug dealer, I fuck prostitutes, I cheat on my wife, but I have the protection of the local police. How awesome is that? But the police can't do everything. They can't clean up generational trauma. They can't resolve Ami Marun's issue of helping my mother take Rachel to rehab, and then just kind of think that the police will help them with that sort of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, Ami Sharbel has proven himself to be the leader of Bata Asad. So if you need anything, go through him. That's how you get things done. All right. Love you.